So, you're the coach of a football team, right? You need to pick someone to play on your team. Who are you going to pick? Realistically, you're going to play Mike, right? On the line. On the line. Okay, yeah. Wide receiver. On the line, you're going to pick Mike, right? It's a no-brainer. You look at him, you stereotype him, you're like, he just looks like a big guy. I'd like to have him on my front line, okay? Eric's like, oh man, this really stinks. Like all the sports, right? Kentucky Derby. You're going to have somebody on your horse and you got $100 grand on the line. Who do you want back? Nuts! Right?
Use soccer.
You want to do this? The point I'm trying to make is that you guys are going to get stereotyped either way as soon as you walk up to the door, okay? I know we talk about the city. You guys are good. Thanks for that. You guys are going to get stereotyped no matter what you do. As soon as you walk up to the door, from the car that you drive to how you look, everything is important. And I'm not talking fancy things. Even if you've got an old beat-up Honda Accord, it doesn't mean it has to be dirty. It doesn't mean that when you get out of that car, a McDonald's cup falls on the ground with you, right? These are things that you can't change. These are things that you can change. Number one, before anything else even starts, you need to be on time. Those are the things, it doesn't take any effort to actually be there on time. You leave the house earlier, be there in the vicinity 10 minutes earlier and play on your phone if you have to, but that's the number one thing to do. Dave actually had a good point here. Who would you want your parents to have as an advisor? Would it be someone that looks like you? I know it's kind of a weird question, but if you're in front of your own parents, would you want them, would that be a good representation? Be like, get that guy out of here. Be like, oh, okay. I know it sounds silly, but it is a good point. Is that the right verbiage that they use, Dave?
It's good enough.
Okay. On time, clean and neat. Sharp. Dress sharp. It's not hard to do. When I first started this, I didn't have a lot of money. I went to the Goodwill and bought khaki pants and other stuff. My parents weren't just shoveling money into this thing. So you can dress sharp by going to the Goodwill if you don't have a lot to begin with. Buy some dress slacks, buy some dress shoes if you have to, but that's all we have. Our competition, clients go to their office when you're doing annuities. You walk into the downtown building of Merrill Lynch or Daniel Island, they're already a step above us. We're showing up there at their house. All we have is what we look like, okay? It's very important. So we're already behind the 8 ball by not having them in the office. Thankfully, now we do have an office, but if you can get them here, that's even better. Another thing, too, is your confidence. These are things that are extremely important. You can do the exact same presentation as me, but if you're not confident with it, they're not going to believe you. If you're stammering through it, or if you're gulping, you don't know what you're talking about, they're going to pick up on that in a second. How many times have you had people say, someone's already come out to see me? I'm the guy that comes out after those people and gets a sale in that house, not because I'm an amazing salesperson, it's because I know what I'm doing. We just had one yesterday. I was with Jordan. She's like the guy who was just here last week. It was from a different company. They don't offer the same products. We're able to write a program that they couldn't. So, again, we're in an extremely competitive market here. And like I said, they're going to stereotype you, okay? I'm not going to mention any names, but I was reading through the notes last night, and someone actually didn't get let into the house because they were spooky. That's actually in the notes for one of these things. I think it's hilarious and it's a joke, but there may be some truth to that. If they won't let you in the house, they want that little choir boy who's like, yeah, I'll be, you've heard me say this before, I'm a nerd with this stuff, right? They want the bookworm. They want the bookworm who's going to be really good for them. Look at Marty. Look how smart this guy looks. He's been doing this for 6 months. I would trust you. They're like, the guy just looks like he knows what he's talking about. Just sign here, man. I'll get off that. That's not closing, obviously. But again, there's a lot of different elements to scoring touchdowns other than just walking to the end zone and doing your celebration dance, okay? All these things leading up to it. The sales cycle, you guys already know. You need to go through the introduction and the warm-up, and this is your personal resume, okay? Who you are. When I say who you are, it's not who your position is with the company. Who are you really? Where are you from? Do you have kids? What are your hobbies? Again, keep it clean. You want to keep this very PG-13, obviously, okay? What do you do? When you go out and you see people, what are you? Are you an insurance salesman? Because that's what they think you are. Some kind of salesman is here to sell me something. How do you break that mold? Who's Cornerstone? Have they ever heard of Cornerstone? Sure they have. The construction company, the church group. We're here for pest control, right? That what happened to you? Okay. I thought somebody said there's about pest control. You need to talk about who Cornerstone is. We have a lot of accolades now. We're coming out with the Cornerstone magazine. Do you guys use that little thing that we have right now that you open up and see all the different things? If you don't, shame on you. That should be the automatic. That's the differential from us and like a banker's life is going to come see him right afterwards. Okay? You need to differentiate yourself and the company that we work for from any other brochure that's coming in the mail, especially if they're turning 65. We're in a huge competitive market with those, and we're able to do very well with them, but why is that? Why should they work with Cornerstone? Somebody say it. Why? Why are you the best? You've got 40 brochures on your table right now, right? I've got an iPad that's showing me all 40 companies they have brochures with. I'm not going to show you the bottom 10, the bottom 20. I'm going to go right to the very top, and I'm going to go with one of the best ones out there. I'm going to do all the research for you. I'm the nerd that's going to do all the homework for you, right? You need to believe that when you're walking into these houses. I'm better than that banker's guy because he only offers a couple products. We're out in Columbia, and I told the lady straight out, Bankers was a good company for me, but we're better in the situation that we have right now offering all the carriers. Doing a needs analysis, okay? If you set the precedent ahead of time and you're talking about all the things that we go over in that magazine article, you're genuinely there. I know I'm genuinely there to help them. And if I can't help you, you don't have to tell me to leave. I'm going to say you're all set and you're in good shape. TRICARE for Life, not healthy enough to switch your life insurance. You don't have any savings right now. There's nothing else we can do. I'm going to tell you you're in good shape. I'm not here to bang you over the head with a bunch of products that you don't want or need, okay? If you genuinely believe that and you present that on the front end, but what I will do is I'll review your life insurance for you. I'll review these different things, and you have to call the companies. Norman, how many people's life insurance was all set when you first met with them? The answer is all of them.
Yeah, seven.
The answer is all of them were all set, because otherwise they would have changed it, right?
Right.
We have to review what they have. I wrote down here, it's a confident needs analysis you have to do. Some of these people, oh, I don't have my policy. Give them a reason to give them a phone call. I haven't gotten a policy out in years because they just call the company, they give me all the information off the bat, right? But be confident in your needs analysis because you're getting into houses that other people may not. You may be going into uncharted waters that other people haven't. Some guy was just out here last week, he tried asking about it as well, but he wasn't confident, he didn't have the background that you did, and you might be able to push a little bit further. You get that company on the phone eventually, there may be a huge cancer inside of that policy that they never even heard of before, okay? This is really, really big. Doug Clancy, who taught me a lot of stuff about this, and Dave as well, I asked him about closing, and he just told me, and that's the whole purpose of this is, there is no hard closing in here. I was watching a Glenn Ross video in there, one of the other. Big rain today. Glenn Ross, it's hard closing, it's all these things. If people don't have an insurance policy, then yes, you have to fill that need, and there's different ways of explaining it. That's not really what we do. We typically take what they have and make it better, right? All my now and will be's. You've got F, we can go to G. You got F, we can go to F if you want to and make it cheaper. All we're doing is soft closing. There is no hammering them over the head with different things. So if they keep saying they want to think about it, it may be the way that you're presenting it, okay? That's really important. You want to focus on how you're actually presenting it. I wanted to share these with you. These are just some basics, and I know you guys have these. These are laminated. They're in my book. These are laminated. They're in my book. I use these all the time. If you can overcome objections before they come up, the closing is easy, okay? Now, if I'm talking about Medicare supplements, I don't even care if it's just a plain supplement, they've had it for a long time and it's basic. I'm going to share this with them, okay? Have you guys all seen this? It's laminated. Again, I can't say this enough. This is part of my presentation. Even if I'm just replacing a supplement, let me share with you what we're doing again. Because if I just blow through the whole thing and say I can save you $30 a month, and John Gould is just having a conversation, yeah, but what would my copay to the doctor be? Well, what would my networks be? If they're having to ask you those questions, now you're having a battle of wits and it's a tennis match back and forth. Cover that stuff on the front end, and it's less closing, okay? When I talk about these in the beginning, I just want to make sure I slow this down for you, Miss Cheryl, okay? I'm going to fast forward you 20 years. You're on Medicare, right? Step one, you've got your red, white, and blue card. We're not changing that. That stays the same if this is a supplement. You've got option one, you've got a supplement that goes along with it and a standalone drug plan, okay? If they don't have Medicare Advantage and they've got a Plan F with a supplement, say, this guy over here, I'm not even going to talk about it, but this is like the stuff you see on TV, like the Humana and the network-based plans. I want to make sure I share that with you. We're not talking about this one. These are the ones with co-pays and everything. All we're talking about, and it's not even your drug plan, that's going to stay the same. We're talking about one element, removing this Plan F and putting another one in its place, okay? You just helped with the co-pay objection, networks. It's the same exact thing that you have right now, right? I'm a fast talker, so let me know if you guys have questions. Everyone's seen this. It's very basic. It's one of those basic moves where you could fumble the ball if you don't do it, okay? Very basic. After the supplement side, you go right into this, okay? They already have a Plan F. They like a Plan F. I don't. And I'll tell people that. I know a lot of people still write Plan F because it's easier to talk. I'll have a little discussion with them, and I will map it out. When I talk about all the different supplement plans next, I put a giant X through A through D. When Medicare came out in the 60s, it wasn't designed to cover everything. There's a lot of missing boxes here, right? Well, these plans are actually more expensive than newer plans nowadays because they're the older ones. Plans K through N are Medicare modernization plans. They have co-pays and not everything's covered. There's missing boxes here. I'm going to narrow it down to plans F and G. I loved Plan F. When I first worked for bankers, we wrote a ton of Plan F. Now it's one of the ones that's going away in 2020. It is being discontinued, okay? Salesmen constantly push all the time. You don't want to be a salesperson. You want to pull back once in a while. If you don't like it, you can actually keep your Plan F and it'll stay on the books, okay? So I don't want to scare you. I'm just letting you know no new enrollments are going into it, okay? I recommend Plan G. The only difference is this one little block here. It's $183 annual deductible. I know this is basic, guys. I don't mean to drone on about this, but again, I'm going back to my wheelhouse. These are all the things that we talk about. So now they've seen all the supplement plans. They know it's a supplement with no networks, no doctors. If you want Plan F, I'll write it for you. Mr. Trevin, I'll actually make more money if I wrote you Plan F. But if you're my dad, I wouldn't recommend it. Because in 2020, when they stop new enrollments going into that, those plans statistically may go up higher than other ones. They did this with Plan J about 10 years ago. If I run across a Plan J right now, it's $300 a month. Because there's no young, healthy people keeping that policy premiums down. Pretty simple? Yeah. Okay? If you're going from an F to a G, right now you tell them up front, Miss Morris, I know you think this is not an apples to apples comparison. Don't write Plan F 172, Plan G 105, because that's going to seem too good to be true. Okay? And your now will be instead, you actually do, I guess I can write it out. I don't want to bore you guys with that. Plan F, monthly premium times 12 is your annual premium, right? Right underneath it, 0 deductible for Plan F. Okay? On your will be, Plan G, annual premium, add the 183 into it, and then you've got your net. Now we're comparing apples to apples. Pretty basic. Everyone does this already. If you don't, do it. Don't just show them the computer and say, I can save you $43 a month. Go through the steps. They don't want to hear it. They want to see it. Okay? All these things are visuals for a reason. Don't talk at them. Present them and take your time with these things. Okay? So again, and then when you've got your now and will be done with, there's no close to it. Okay? If you can help it, go with a brand name company. Play legit. I took this from one of his trainings before and it was really good. He said if you don't have to sell the financial backing of a company, it makes things a lot easier. Go with a Mutual of Omaha or an Aetna or a Cigna. If you have to, because of health reasons or whatever else, you can go with one of the other ones. And I know some people really like those other carriers, but that might be one of the objections that you have. Ryan Haggerty was saying that before, where I got Blue Cross Blue Shield and I love them, right? Well, there's a slide for that. Section 4, steps in buying a Medigap policy. This is all of that book that Scott showed you in that training. It's laminated. I use it in my presentations. Right here, as you shop for Medigap policies, keep in mind that different insurance companies can charge different amounts for exactly the same Medigap policy. An F is an F is an F. A G is a G is a G, right? This is not me telling them and be like, all right, just trying to sell me a policy here. I don't really believe what you're saying here, but this is right out of the Medicare book, okay? It's all about linking it, what you're saying, to what you're actually doing here. That's, when it comes to these, when you're done, and you do a now and will be with the Medicare side, and you're going from a Blue Cross Blue Shield to a Mutual of Omaha, and they understand, and they've heard it, and they've seen it, there shouldn't be a close to that. Well, I don't know, I want to think about it. If you've got someone, you go full circle, you do a good presentation, and they know who your backing is, and more about you, and they want to think about it, you want to know what it is that the hiccup is, okay? But you can't say that. Mr. Remsen, why do you want to think about it? Oh, geez, I mean, you know, why do you want to do it, you know? You can't do that. You got to repeat your benefits over again, okay? If you want to know what the hot button is or what you're missing, repeat the benefits over again. I just want to slow things down. Mr. Perry, so you know you have an F now, you don't have a deductible, right? You can go to any doctor you want, there are no copays. You go to a Plan G, any doctor you want, no copays, but annual $183 deductible one time per year. You understand that, right? What you're paying right now is $15.20. This would actually be $11.07 or something, saving you this. I like it, it's a good idea, okay? If you're 50-50 and you want to apply for it, we apply for it and we see what they say. It's not these companies and that they're private insurance companies, they can accept or decline, okay? So, the closing to it, Mike pretty much said the whole secret's to closing as it was. It's just assuming the sale. To me, it's flashing high beams at me. Don't say no-brainer. Randy Harvey actually told me that. He said it can be offensive to certain people, okay? So I kind of learned from that. I use the metaphor where it's flashing high beams at me. This is why I'm successful at what I do. I've been doing this for 12 years. This is where I've been featured in Forbes magazine, all these different ones. It's not just Mutual of Omaha. You need a guy like me in your back pocket so when 3 years go by and AARP comes out with a new supplement, I'll be the one calling you about it. You're going to get a holiday card with a magnet with my picture of my kids on it. That's who we're actually talking about. Okay? Any questions? This is basic, right? It's basic, but I guarantee you not every single person in the room is showing slides one by one by one, and they're missing steps in the meantime. Yes?
Going back to the beginning there when we were talking about, you know, your appearance, your profile, your presentation when you come to the door, you also have to remember your social media account. You got a Facebook or something like that. They look at that.
Yep.
They'll look you up. So make sure there's nothing offensive on there or anything that's going to be, you know, raise a red flag.
I use that to one of my strong points. You guys have heard me talk about Facebook a lot. I'll tell people, John Gouin and I have a ton of referrals from Sun City because they're going to Sun City's Facebook page and they're not seeing a professional profile of Matthew or Cornerstone. They're looking at a picture of me fishing with my girls on Father's Day. Those are those things that you're just bringing that unique dynamic where it's not like, oh, some guy wrote me a Med Sub last week. It's like, no, that's Matthew. His wife is Jamie. They live in Somerville. They're here from Massachusetts. Like, that's the relationship you have to have. And if you don't have it, practice it. Get your little resume out. Mark has a little trifold brochure on himself. Great resume. He wouldn't be able, having that organization in the front end makes him stand out from the guy coming in right behind him or the guy he just replaced. Okay? So we talked about overcoming objections before they even come up. Okay? If they have to ask you about objections and they're no-brainers, shame on you for not explaining that in the front end. Okay? Reassure them on the beginning. Use the visuals. Use the slides. Always do and now and will be as basic as it is, even if you're keeping with the same plan app. Just write it out so they can see it in ink. Okay? Review everything in the summary when you're done. And I'm not just the entire fact finder. I'll show them the front or the back or whatever. Say, listen, you got TRICARE for life. It's fantastic. Thank you for your service, 27 years in the military. They're going to take care of your long-term care as well. You also have life insurance, and I can't beat that price. I am concerned about the annuities that you have. You're paying way too much money on them. Who here has been through the annuity training? Has everyone been through the annuity training? Half the room. When you see those written down on the board, are those not flashing high beams, no-brainers coming at you? Because they should be. There's no close to those. It's like, what do you recommend? That's the dynamic you have to have in these houses. But when you review everything in summary, tell them the things that they've done really well with, okay? You have your vehicle, you go bring it into the shop. Hey, everything's in good shape. I would recommend changing this over here, but everything else looks good. Okay, you're not just trying to sell me everything that you can, right? When it comes to the annuity side, this may be for a whole separate training, but again, it's the basics. I just want to show you more of the slides that I have. Everyone knows these, but again, it's about showing it to them, okay? I use this in every annuity presentation that I do. Dave is very good about zooming out. And when I say zoom out, it's just taking a look at it from a bird's eye view. Dave already got an annuity, okay? There are 3 different types of annuities. The first one is a fixed, right up here. Fixed annuity, describe what it is. You've got variable annuities. Susie Orman, all those people, they hate annuities. They hate them, they hate them. Completely agree. I hate variable annuities as well, okay? You've already kind of addressed the elephant in the room when you talk about the variable annuity. Then you talk about what you do like, and it's the indexed annuity, and it has all the different bullet points on it here, okay? So now when they say annuities are bad, what did I just do? It's hot in here, right? Is it just me? You guys are gonna be sleeping.
Oh, it's hot up there, man.
You're gonna be sleeping here.
Brought it to their attention that there are different types.
You're overcoming an objection. You're getting on their side. I completely agree with you. You don't want Medicare Advantage. I completely agree. There's networks, co-pays. I hate annuities too. They're referring to this one right here. I couldn't agree with you more. Let me show you this one here. This is the one that I do recommend. But you're not telling it to them. You're showing it to them. Okay? The big difference with all of this. See the pattern here? I keep repeating myself. And then it has more bullet points in the bottom of how an indexed annuity works. So after you do that and you show them how the actual indexed annuity works, like the chart, whole separate presentation. Again, I'm just here for the closing side. You've got to set it up the right way, okay? When you're talking about the chart, you're showing them what it's like. The blue line is like a fixed account, like the tic-tac-toe. The red line is like the other side of the column on the variable side. The green line is that one in the middle. I'll put you guys in a tic-tac-toe presentation, okay? They're going to ask if they've never heard of a company, okay? I don't know if you guys have this or not. It's the Standard & Poor's. This is what you use as your backup, okay? Standard & Poor's is like a teacher in the classroom, and all these students are the insurance companies, and they're going to give them grades. Sometimes the hardest working student doesn't always get the best grades, okay? You want the company that's going to give you have the best rating that they have, but also give you the best interest rates. That's why we go with XYZ company. They're A-rated, not A+, but they're good, okay?
What is that called?
Standard & Poor's. It's the guide to AM Best. AM Best cheat sheet. We're flying right through this. Okay, we're going to do some rebuttals afterwards, and that's going to be more like a group type thing. But there's four things. Number one, an overall theme. You have to be confident. If you don't know what you're talking about, then learn about it. If you've got questions about things, you've got to get those answered beforehand. Because if they ask you a question and you're not sure about it, you could lose a sale with one quick thing. Does that plan G have any co-pays? I don't know. Let me look into that. I'll get back to you. You don't know if it has co-pays? Of course it does, right? Offer the best. If you're doing the actual Medicare supplements, show them the actual quoting software. After you do the whole thing, say, let me show you where I'm getting these actual quotes from, especially with a med supp. Start at the very bottom. Well, first off, go to the very top, and if it's a company that you want to have, let's say Mutual of Omaha is number 2, and another company up there that we don't offer is number 1, you can X a box so Mutual of Omaha is number 1, okay? I don't know if you guys are seeing it or not. But when you're showing it to them, flip the screen around and say, this is what I'm actually showing you right now. When you look at all the different ones, go from the bottom. You can spend $187 a month if you go with Blue Cross Blue Shield. We go up, we go up, we go up. I would go with Omaha. They're 109 because they give you a household discount. These are one of the perks about dealing with a broker instead of a captive agent or somebody through the mail. Somebody from Blue Cross Blue Shield calls you, they're not showing you all the different plans like I am, right? I offer all of them. Simple, but it just makes sense. Those are the things that I would want to see if I was on the other end of the table. I asked Mark, and he had a good point. All we're doing is we have to identify the problem and you fix it. That's the closing that we do. Somebody says, I'm going to Olive Garden. You say, hey, real quick, I actually have a coupon for that. I just came in here. Here, just use this. That's what we're doing. You're going there anyways. You're going to use your Medicare supplement. If I can save you $50 on your meal, that would be great. It's all the same. But you got to have that confidence just like that. But like, it's a no-brainer. No, I don't know if I want that coupon. Why? You can't say it like that to them, but you have to have that